Well, I think that we can start. Thank you very much for being here. Sorry, this is the last workshop for this first cohort of the fellowship program. I don't know if you know, but it is a special day here in Mexico. It's our Independence Day, so we're very happy to share this workshop with you. I don't want to get too long in this introduction. I pass the microphone to the students of Tec de Monterrey. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Hello, good night, good afternoon, or good day, whatever corresponds to where you are. Thank you very much for joining us today in the workshop. Uh, like Carlos said, we are from the Tec de Monterrey. We are giving this last workshop, and we have a special day, the independence of our country. Uh, Also, we have a different situation with all of you because we are not in one city. We are in different cities around the country because we are from different campus of the tech. It is a topic that we will talk more in our presentation, but I think it's important. Uh, we can start.
Well, we're going to take a look to the agenda for today's workshop. First of all, we're going to introduce our team. Then we're going to do an introduction to the workshop. Then we're going to do a presentation of the methodology. This part is divided in other 6 parts that are identification of needs, identification of resources, identification of goals and objectives, implementation part, work and objective, and result presentation. Lately in the workshop, we're going to do a group dynamic, and finally, we're going to finish with a closure. Well, the team members are, first we have Valeria, is a mechatronic engineering at Campus Toluca. We have Federico, is an economist at Campus Monterrey. We have Jose, is a mechatronic engineering at Campus Guadalajara. Then we have Ricardo, is a biomedical engineering at Campus Mexico City. We have Jade, that also is a mechatronic engineering at Campus Mexico City. And I am Luis, I am an industrial engineering at Campus Monterrey.
So then we're gonna give you like a background about this like methodology that we're gonna give to you. And well, according to our experience in like all the esports environment that we've contributed, we have seen that there's like a rapid crescent interest from various universities in esports, and this requires a step-based development in a methodology. And so we have designed a methodology based on our country's context. But before we explain our methodology, I am going to give you some context of like our country in this aspect. Well, then firstly, we're gonna start by talking about Latin America. So there are around 30 billion people that play video games, and 10% of all those players in the world are from Latin America, and those are approximately 289 millions. And there has been an increase of 6.2% in 2021. And it is one of the fastest growing regions by number of players, as you can see in the graphs. And despite the pandemic, Latin America became the region with the highest growth in its video game market, explained by the second graph that we have. And then we're gonna talk about Mexico. Here, the most popular games are CSGO, League of Legends, StarCraft, and many others. And in 2019, FEMES, the Mexican Federation of Esports, was approved, and with this, esports was recognized as a sport in Mexico. Then games like Free Fire, PUBG Mobile, and many others have been getting more trendy here. So there has been a rise in mobile gaming. Mexico is the second market in Latin America by mobile gamers and by revenue, and the revenue is around $900 million. Then Mexico was able to generate around $1.8 billion in 2019. It was $0.2 billion more than in 2018, marking a growth of 11.1%. And this amount of money has made Mexico the country that has the largest revenues derived from video games in Latin America.
So this is what we were talking to you about before, that in Tec de Monterrey, we have the very special situation that we have 26 campuses within Mexico. So we currently hold 20 competitive sports, including esports in 2018, but this is one of the challenges that we need to take into account when working on esports. So Tec de Monterrey has made several advances within esports. The first of which is we have annual tournaments, which are called the Borreos Cup, which play Clash Royale and League of Legends. And right now there's some new tournament that's starting. It's called the Tech Invitational, that is featuring Fortnite for the first time in institution history. As well, we have the first ever university gaming arena in Latin America, which is in Tech Campus Guadalajara. And in the near future, it will be available also in Tech Campus Monterrey. And we also work as a university, we work with CONDE, CONADEP, and University Sports Mexico, which are basically national institutions of esports for different things. Like CONDE is for all public universities and private universities. CONADEP is only for private universities. And Esports Mexico is for everybody. It's another thing.
Okay, so we are going to start presenting what would be the methodology that we talked about and mentioned, which will be the main topic for this workshop. Okay, so the first step that we identified as a team was the identification of university needs. This is really important for every university to develop its own goals, since you're going to base your whole project in which all these necessities are. So here we have some important points that you have to consider in order to make this identification of necessities. First of all, you need to take into account that your project will be based on this. So this is a really important step. It's like the base of all your project. So it's really important that you don't skip this and don't think like it's unimportant. It really is important and you need to do it. So second would be that there's latent or hidden needs also, apart from explicit needs. So when you go and gather information from all the students, all the teachers, you need to take into account that many times students, they won't say like everything that they need. Why? Because maybe we just like tend to think about some things and forget about some other. And even if we don't say it as students, we need to like go further into our thinking and identify those as well. So for example, an experience that we had here in Tec de Monterrey was that, for example, a bunch of students still told us like, could you build a representative team for League of Legends? And the problem was that we focused on that necessity so much that we didn't focus, for example, on the necessity that we have like as a basis, which would be developing an esports lab in our campus. So even if they didn't say it, we needed to have different resources and different spaces for us to work with that. So even if they don't say it, it's really important that you can identify those. Now, third point would be that you have to make sure that every single member of your team is in the same page, right? That everyone is understanding the needs on the same level, because this will allow every single person in the team to build up to the goals, to work on them, and to not have like different efforts that will go in different directions. But if you all understand what the needs are, what they represent, and what you want to achieve based on those needs, it will be better for your whole project. Now, there's also a really important part, which is the forgotten needs. Many times, as we like make a list of all these needs and necessities of the university, we tend to forget some, and it happens a lot. I mean, I won't lie to you, it has happened to us too. So it's really important that when you focus on one necessity, you don't leave the other ones and say like, oh yes, I'll do that later and I'll check that later, and then you forgot completely about them. So it's really important that you keep those in mind. And that takes me to the last point, which is that it's really important that you keep an archival record of those needs. Either if it's through, for example, a Word document, a data sheet, or in Excel or something, you can choose whatever tool works for you. But the important thing here is that you register all of the needs in that place, because that way you will make sure that you won't forget any of those. And so, well, these are like the most important points to consider when you are identifying the university needs. And now we're going to present like a step-based, let's say, way to identify those needs. So first of all, and the most important part is gathering raw data from your community members. This means that you have to go with students, with teachers, with your teammates, with whomever would be involved in this, and you just have to make polls or interviews or something that would allow you to interact with these people, and that they would tell you what they need, what they want. Of course, in this type of polls, you can have like questions that would be answered like as a yes or a no, but it's really important that you include open like answer questions, that it's not only like yes, no, maybe, or I don't know, that it's more like that they can explore their own answer and tell you what they need. Okay, so the next step after you gather the data is how you interpret that raw data. So you have all this bunch of information. It's really important that you are able to segment it to like understand what it means, and not to just say like, oh, they told us this, so we do this, right? It's more, it goes further. So you need to really interpret what they are trying to tell you through every single word that they say. And this takes me to the next step, which would be organizing the needs into a different hierarchy. So this means that, for example, every need would be focused on different things. Some might say that they want to be like 5 different teams for League of Legends, for example. Some other people will say that they want like a whole esports staff, or they want a coach, or they just want like new gaming sets, for example. So you need to like organize and put every single need into the space that is corresponded. This will allow you to make like different groups, and in your own organization, in your own team, different people will focus on different needs. For example, there is the department that will focus on social media, for example, or that will focus on the esports stuff, or on the teams, or on sponsors, for example. So when you like divide and like set apart these needs, it will allow every single part of your team to work in every single necessity. And after you like have segmented these necessities, what you have to do is establish a relative importance. This means that you need to build, for example, a pyramid of what will you do first, second, and third, or and fourth, and so on. Okay, because you can do like everything at the same time. That's impossible. And also the fact that you like put some things first will mean that those needs need to be satisfied first to create a base for the second and the third. So it's really important that you can identify with your team. You need to sit, talk, and say like, okay, we, for example, can't invite other teams to our campus if we haven't built an esports lab, for example, right? So then like, or I can create a representative team and send them to participate into tournaments if they aren't trained, if they haven't got the skills to be professionally competitive in this game. So it's really important that you put an importance for those like necessities and that you establish which will be the first and last. And well, this would be the final step, which would be reflecting the results on the process. So the reason why we have a mystery box here is that so far in this point, your project is still a mystery. Nobody knows how it's going to work, not even you. So far, you only know what your needs are. And the thing that you know is that when you open that mystery box, all these needs, or at least most of them, will be satisfied, okay? So you need to really keep that in mind, that your project is based on this, not like, oh, I made polls and then I did like what I thought was best and I have completely like ignored the needs. No, it's really important that you really focus your project on them. Okay, and well, again, in our methodology, the first step, as we have mentioned, was the needs identification. Now we're going to talk about the objectives definition, which is also really, really important. So here we have a really famous methodology that is called SMART for objectives definition. I believe most of you have used it already. And we really like this technique because it allows us to create objectives that will be really easy to understand for everyone and that will have a great impact in the future for your goals. So the way in which you like develop these objectives would be, first, you have to make sure that they are specific. For example, there's a wide difference between saying, I'll create an esports community in my university, rather than, for example, I'll develop 5 different teams, I'll get in contact with these organizations, or I'll get this amount of sponsors, or I'll be able to participate in this amount of games. I mean, it's really open, but it really needs to be specific. So don't just leave it open as an esports community, because of course it's what we want, but we really need to establish the path to get to that united esports university. Then it has to be measurable. It's also really important that you take into account this, because many times we say like I have set my objective and in the end I say like, oh yes, I did it. Okay, how do you prove that you did it? How can you say that I really did it? So it's more like implementing a metric, a number, increasing the participation of students by 20% by the end of next year. So in the end, when you finish your project, you will be able to see if it was like 20% or less or more, okay? The reasons you will explain after, but it's really important that you can measure your impact. Third would be that it's achievable. You have to really take into account that your objective is realistic. So for example, we would like to make 30 representative teams and that they would do like being all the world. Well, that's not really possible for us. Maybe for you, some universities it is, but for us it's not. So we really need to bound our own objectives on what we can do. Then fourth would be that it's relevant also. For example, what if we say like, oh, I'll build my Super Smash Bros. Team and that's all. Okay, maybe it's super relevant to me, but is it relevant for like all the community, for all the university and all the students? Maybe not. So in this part of relevant, you really need to take into account those needs we were talking about previously. Then it has to be time bound. You have to set a specific time frame for you to achieve this specific goal. So it doesn't matter if it's like in a week or if it's in 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, you will know when you want to achieve that goal. And it's okay. Some things take less time, some other things take more time. But the important thing is that in your goal, you set the time frame since the very beginning. And so everyone in the team will work to get there. And here we have some examples of what would be a well-defined objective and a not so well-defined one. So the first one is develop a university esports community in campus, having a minimum of 1 representative team per game in a 6-month period. It's a specific, measurable, it's achievable also, it's relevant, and it has a specific time frame. Now let's take a look at the second one. create representative teams for games in Tec de Monterrey. You don't even say like which games. It doesn't have a time frame. Maybe it's not like completely achievable. It's not measurable. So if you take into account all these 5 factors, I'm sure that all of you will be able to develop really, really great goals that you will achieve in your defined time frame. Okay, and the third part of our methodology consists on identifying resources. So we have a picture to the right, which is like a guy with these like question marks, because many times we feel like that. I mean, it's okay when we're developing a project, we don't always know everything. We don't know all the answers because it's something new. We're like pioneers on this process of developing this project. So it's really important to say that to identify what we already have, how can we use it, and what else do we need? So here I developed some killer questions for you that you can ask yourself, or you can ask your university, your friends, like, for example, what type of material resources are necessary to achieve our goals? Do we need financial support from our university? Can we get help through sponsors? For example, in Tec de Monterrey, we can many times get help through different sponsors, but some universities don't allow that. So it's also like a kind of a barrier, but the fact that it's a barrier doesn't mean that it's impossible to get resources, right? What events can we organize to get enough resources? That's also another thing. Sometimes if you don't get like financial sponsorship from different organizations, you can organize your own events and gain resources. It's really common to do that, for example. So here we have a list of like an example of material resources, which would be Wi-Fi network, esports lab, computers, gaming furniture, consoles, controllers. So all these are materials that we need. There is sponsors that will look forward to sponsor those, like literally like that, like give you chairs, give you computers, give you monitors, give you mouses and keyboards. But there's also some others that will just give you money. And when they give you like literally money, you need to really think, how will you, or where will you set those like resources? So in this step, we are not allocating those resources. It's really important that you understand this. We are only identifying. So this means that we will make a list, and we will list everything that we find in our university and within our team, okay? Right now, we are not allocating those resources in our goals. We will do that later.
The next step to follow once you have your needs and the resources clear is the implementation plan, which means developing a situation for the objectives that we're established using the resources you know you have. For this, you can use a large number of tools for project management or project administration. Some of these tools are a Gantt chart, an Ishikawa, risk management, resource allocation, teammates. Well, this part, you need to have clear the responsibilities of all the teammates and have a good coordination between the team. With these tools, most of these we know of in some time, or we can learn after, but the more important for us is the risk management, because we always will have a problem. We always have the risk that you need to cancel a tournament, you need to get a new caster, and a sponsor say to no at the last minute. It's not common, but maybe all of the students need to go to their homes because a virus is in everywhere. That's the reason we think you always need to be prepared for all the situations. There are some that you can be prepared, but you can have a plan that help you to be modified to go through that situation.
So in this stage, it is where we apply the implementation plan. In order to do it successfully, there has to be coordination among the team. That's very important. Everybody has a role which they need to fulfill in order to work as efficiently as possible. Every team works in different ways, so here is where you as a team need to decide which is the best manner for you to carry out the implementation plan. You need to talk to your teammates to identify each other's strengths and weaknesses so you can make the necessary adjustments to complement each other in the best ways. You already have decided how to allocate the resources, so in this stage, it is where you have to work as efficiently as possible in order to get them the best use.
Okay, now we're going to, I'm sorry. Okay, now we're going to see about how to measure the objectives of each plan. It's like in every plan we have objectives and we need to see if we are going to achieve it, okay? So there are many ways in order to see if we achieve these objectives, and these are, for example, is documentation. If you see that there is an interest in the esports programs of your university, like people that are interested of enrolling in your university because of this program. Also the metrics. For example, in Mexico City, I am the president of the student group that controls the esports in this campus. And we need to measure a lot of times how the community inside and outside the community, inside the university, and it's like reaching this, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, stuff like that. And that metrics also tell us if they are interested in the things we are doing. Another thing that we need to measure is the competitive results. Yeah, we want to make esports and sport. And what sport does, many of the times they compete. And we need to have very good results in order to be recognized as a good team. So if we win a lot of the tournaments, we're being recognized as a very good team. And that's the thing we need to measure in order to be recognized all around Mexico and also in the world. That's the point for also. Yeah, with the results, we are going to have recognition. And this is important because many of the times with the recognition, they come sponsors or more people are interested in being part of our organization, stuff like that. But these type of results, competitive results, are not done by the administration only. They are also done by the players. And we can't like be focus on only one team. We need to train more teams in order that the players are like being developed constantly. Because at the end, we are university and our players are going to be graduated at the end. And when they graduate, the players that are training are going to become the titular. So it's a cycle that we need to be doing in order to be to have a top university in esports. Also, with these new talents, with the development of the players, we need to have a very good individual level. And with this comes the interest of different institutions for our players. For example, many of you know TSM, that is a professional team of League of Legends and all other esports. And if TSM are interested in one player of Tecnológico de Monterrey, that telling us that he has a very good individual level. And that's very good for us because we develop this talent, and with our help, he's being recognized all around the world as one of the top players. So we need to do all the time that in order to have good players, have very good competitive results. And with that, we are making sure that we are fulfilling the objective. Yeah, what we are achieving this objective that we wanted. So with this is the end of the methodology. So anyone in the audience have some questions that want to ask us? Okay, I think there is no, there are no questions. Okay, I think Matthew has one question.
Yes. I was wondering if, do you have any like, have you guys started implementing these results at Tec de Monterrey? And if so, how has that been going for you?
Okay. As we said at the beginning, we are from different campuses all around Mexico. And if we are talking about individuals, for example, I'm the president of my student group, and we are like organizing all the esports in our campus. And yeah, we implemented this methodology. We are like in the way of getting resources. And we're seeing that the metrics are going up. There is a lot of interest inside the community and outside the community for our participation in esports, from coaches, from players, from students that want to enroll universities. They are like, they're hearing that Technological Monterrey is developing this type of programs, and they're interested in enrolling with us because of that. So yeah, esports is a very big thing that is going on in our country. And Tec de Monterrey is like a pioneer in this. So many of them, or many of the people that want to be part of it, they are looking to enroll in Tecnológico de Monterrey. Also, as we said, we have like a lot of places. For example, in Tec Guadalajara, they make a place in order that you can play. It's we have many computers of top levels. Is organized. They make tournaments there, and also in Monterrey they are developing this type of installations. So yeah, it is going very good in our university, and I think my partner Valeria wants to add something about her campus. So yeah, Vale.
Yes, thank you, Ricardo. I mean, what Ricardo shared is very much what we are doing in Tec de Monterrey. As he's mentioned, it's also like a challenge since there are like 26 different campuses around the country. In this situation, the esports community is growing differently by different phases. So, for example, we like every leader from their own campus developed a different strategy to build the teams. And now we gathered as a team and we're for different campus, all of us, and we developed this methodology based on what has worked for us in each of our campus. And so, for example, we noticed that these were like the common steps that everyone used in order to develop their own communities, teams, etc. So we didn't like apply it exactly like this because we didn't know, like we hadn't established these steps until now. But as we look back, we definitely used most of these steps to build our esports community on each campus. And so, for example, every campus is in a different stage of building this esports community. We're working on that. The work hasn't finished, of course. We have metrics to measure how much it has grown in different campuses throughout the time. For example, I can tell you that in my campus, like my group was created in 2017, and up until today, we have created 5 representative teams. We had already started building our esports stuff. We didn't finish it due to the pandemic. So, but for example, in Tec Guadalajara, which is from where Jose is from, he already has the lab. So it's different stages in every campus, but now as a team, we are intending to implement this methodology for most of the campus around the country so that it's like an established process. And so that it's not like this is doing one thing and then the other, and then like the other 20 are not doing anything, but more like every single campus would be growing, if possible, depending on the possibilities of each campus, to the same pace.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I think Jason has another question.
Yeah, guys, you guys did so great. Great job, guys. All you guys did a fantastic job presenting. You should be so proud of yourselves. I have a question, and it could be for Valeria since she spoke to it, but it could be from any of you guys. Have you found anything that has worked really well in resource allocation from sponsors, whether it be cold calls or whether it be establishing a relationship first? What have you guys found that have kind of worked in getting you some resources, whether it be technology, actual equipment, keyboards, mice, that kind of stuff, or even some financial support?
Okay, yeah, Vale, you want to answer that? Or do you want me to do it?
Well, I can share some of my own experience in my campus, but I'm sure like also my teammates would like to share some. For example, for us, I remember many times we think of resources as like material things or money, but right now just came to my mind, for example, an sponsor that we got like 2 years ago that consisted on like having a specific time for like a TV show. So we like intervened as a team in that TV show. For example, they promoted us. We talked about what we do in Tec de Monterrey and everything. So it was really cool. I mean, I won't lie to you, being on TV. I wasn't there, but my team went there. And so, for example, many times we just think as sponsors as they can give you something like physically. And most of the time, well, that is true. But also we need to think like about anything that would help us that they can give to us. Also, now speaking more on the side of material resources, we got monitors and keyboards from one specific sponsor that happened before I entered the team. So I don't really remember which was that sponsor, but we have still those like sets in the campus. And there's also one time we got like financial support to enter a specific tournament for our teams because the cost of the registration was a bit high for us. So yes, in my case, we have found a lot of help through sponsors. It's really important for us to get those. And even so, like when you are sponsored, they can always help you to have more presence, not only in your campus, not only in your university, but even outside. So when someone sees like you have a specific brand in your t-shirt or in your conference or something, it causes a big impact on everyone else. And like we have noticed that when we have a specific sponsor, more people start to like ask questions, want to know about us, want to enter the team. So yes, it's really cool.
Yeah, also very good recommendation that I can give, talking about more in tech in general of Mexico, is that with the tournaments that we are doing, this Borregos Cup and all of that, we achieved to have a sponsor that is Digitech. That sponsor like gave us support in order to organize this type of tournaments. It helped us a lot because he not only like organize the tournament, it also give us promotion, give us the opportunity to hire some of the very good casters in Mexico that is that participated in the LLA, that is the professional league of League of Legends. That is Skyshock and
Nosfe.
Snisec, I think. Yeah.
Nosfe was the other one.
Nosfe, yeah, Nosfe and Skyshock, I'm sorry. Many of us like grew up hearing about them and as our heroes. And personally, I participated in the final of this tournament with Federico and Jay, and we met these people. So it's a very good thing because they are not only give us a stuff, they are not only give us a promotion and all of that. Also, they are giving experience. Very good moments that are possible because of them. And I think also Carlos has another thing to share with us.
Yes, thank you, Ricardo. Thank you for your question, Jason. Actually, I'm going to mention the same things that Ricardo mentioned because, well, in a broader way, we can see that each of the 26 campus can have activities to get these sponsors at Valeria, as Valeria already mentioned. In a national way, in the national perspective, we're setting up these national tournaments to make more movement in the 100% of our students community, because when we reach more students, then the sponsors are going to be more interested in. So we are running 4 tournaments throughout the year. Each of that tournaments change in the methodology. Actually, for example, right now we are running the Esports Invitational, and we are inviting to other students from other schools, from other high schools and actual other universities to participate in our tournament. So with that movement of people, it's more attractive to the sponsors to be in the tournament. So this is the two ways that we can get these sponsors. First of all, the actions that every campus can do, and this is the way that we are supporting this thing of sponsorships in the national view.
Thank you so much, Carlos. I think
thank
there
you.
is a last question, that is Patrick. So yeah, Patrick.
Thanks. Yeah, I just had a question about problems that you may have encountered. So I would like to hear if you could talk about, and I don't mean small problems like the mouse is broken and the tournament's going to start, what do we do? But rather, if you can share maybe just an example. I know, as you said, there's various campuses, so maybe there's a couple of examples out there of kind of one big problem, thinking about the large scale, right? So over the course of the last year or the last 2 years, is there one kind of major obstacle that you've needed to deal with that you have either managed to overcome or that you have not overcome yet? Because I think a lot of different students on different campuses will experience a lot of different, will have a lot of different experiences with getting their esports clubs or programs up and running. So hearing some of those more, not negative, but more problematic experiences that you've had may help as well.
Okay, I think Fede has something to say, but I will say something first. For example, I think a major problem in Mexico is the organization of the different tournaments. For example, the biggest tournament here is called the U-League. That is an open tournament for all the universities of Mexico. They are like, I don't know, like 100 universities or more in this tournament, and they all compete each other in order to win a prize of money. Yes, it's a monetary prize of around $10,000, I think, something like that. But the organization of this tournament sometimes is not very good because they open the registry like 1 week before the tournament begins. And for example, in each campus, we need to make tournaments in order to select the team that is going to compete for each campus, because right now, Tech does not have like a representative team. They have the student group, and the student group is like recognized as the representative, but is not like in paper. It's been recognized, but also all the students of the campus can compete for that spot. For example, if 5 friends want to compete against the student group, they can do it and win their place in order to represent the campus. So in that week, we need to organize our inside tournament in order to select the teams that are going to be representing each campus. And sometimes that is a little bit messy because at the end, we are students and we need time in order to organize our time. It's like, yeah, we need to make a tournament. Okay, when? In 4 days. What? But I have exams. And yeah, it's very stressful sometimes. And me as the organizer and as the player, I can tell that it's sometimes very sloppy and it's very like, it's in a rush. And that, yes, a major problem because that is the root. That is where all the teams come from, is if there is not a representative team in each campus, Tech is not going to have a representative in that tournament. Yeah, that's I think a major problem with us. I think Fede has something to say. So Fede.
Yeah, as Ricardo said, one of the bigger problems we have as an institution is that because we are so many different campuses and each of them has different necessities, we cannot do the same thing in one campus than the other. So if you're looking at a national scope, it is very difficult to make decisions that will apply to everybody, right? So you have to basically, I mean, we've been having to basically try to replicate our decisions in each campus in a similar way, but it cannot be the same because it wouldn't work the same way for each campus. For example, in Ciudad de Mexico, Ricardo is the president of the esports community. In Monterrey, in Campus Monterrey was deemed that it was not necessary to have an esports community because the institution was going to fill that role. But that's an initiative from the campus, right? So we cannot treat each of them as the same, and we have to basically look at each one and make the decisions that will benefit that one. So when we have this, with the fellowship, we have this national initiative to to implement some decisions in a national scale is very difficult because it doesn't work that way, and we have to adapt to the necessities of each campus. So I think that's the bigger problem right now with the university that we've been having.
Yeah, as Pedro said, we are working on it. With this fellowship, is a very big opportunity for us. We love esports, and this is opportunity to organize the esports in all Mexico, in all Tecnológico Monterrey, in one single organization, that we do the things that we know that works in each campus. And with that, we have a representative team in each campus, and with that, we are being more organized. We don't waste time. We have resources for each team, like coach, the computers, keyboards, all of that is going for the representative team of each campus. The tryouts is it's easier to attract students from other schools to join us, and with scholarships, stuff like that is it's easier to achieve with. And Carlos, I think he wants to say something. So yeah, please, Carlos.
Yes, thank you, Ricardo. Just to close and just to conclude this particular question, and then we can go to the dynamic that the students really prepared. Just to make a really good perspective to you, we have 26 different campuses, we say, but for example, one of them they have 8,000 students, and then another campus only have 500 students. So there are really totally different realities. The financial capacity of this campus, it is very different. So I think that this is a really huge problem for us, for this national strategy, because this national strategy needs to be really achievable to every campus that we have. For example, we need to make strategy not only for esports. We need to make this strategy for another 25 sports, and we need to make one strategy not only for sports. Actually, we need to make this strategy in the academic area too. So, for example, maybe one campus have the esports as #1 priority, and then another campus can have the esports as priority number 100. So I think that the realities that we live in each campus, financially and studently, and in every area, it is really different. So I think that these numbers can give you more perspective on this capacity, on this financial capability of every campus, and then the national strategies are maybe a difficult way to get to every and each one of the campuses.
Thanks.
Thank you, Patrick, for your question.
Yeah, I hope that answers your question. I'll give you more context about our situation. I think there are no more questions, so we are going to go to the dynamic. Let me present the dynamic. Okay, yeah. So this is fun. Imagine that you have the power to create your own university, that you have, and you want that university to have a very good esports program. Yeah, if I had the opportunity to do it, I will do it because I love esports. But this is the life is not ideal. We have limitations, and sometimes the scenario is not very good. So we need to adapt. And for that, we are going to give you a challenge. So first of all, you need to understand that the university is not a professional team. You need to combine the esports with the academic part. Remember that all the students are students at the end. So you need to combine all of that. For that, this is the scenario. You have your own university. You have 1,000 students enrolled, and 20% of them are interested in esports. So 200, if you're not good at math. So the university is going to finance 70% of your project. So the project is your own. You need to find the best project in order to achieve a top esports program. So yeah, I think that with this presentation and with your knowledge of the games and the organizations of esports, you can do it. But as always, many times we need a different perspective. So we are going to make groups of different people of different universities in order to help each other and create their own universities, okay? So I don't know how many students are in the
So maybe let me introduce the breakout room. So this breakout room will be around like 15 minutes, 30 minutes. And then like there are three student, I mean like other fellowship student in the room. And then there are around three Monte's student like facilitating in the breakout room. So if everything is okay, I will go ahead and open all the rooms. And also like for the advisors, you will also join the breakout room hosted by Carlos. So is that okay? I will go ahead and open it.
Okay, yeah, a final comment is that you need to make a 2 minute presentation. And this presentation needs to have the things that we said in our presentation. So I hope you paid attention and you're not seeing Netflix and stuff like that. Because if not, you're going to be a little bit funny. So you need to take these points in consideration is the identification of resources, definition of objectives, implementation plan, tools to measure this impact. And because I'm funny, I added an extra point. That is, if you're funny or entertaining, you're going to have extra points. So I wish you luck.
Okay, I will go ahead and open it.
Okay, so maybe we can have the breakout room where I was in for present. I think it was Kaden and Ethan.
Yeah.
And
I think K1's still gone. I guess I'll just go. So we are thinking about having it like traditional sports format. So obviously we get our university have scholarships, and we get courses and degrees that are more flexible with timetables and just accessibility, and also scheduling, just so our players can actually focus on playing. And then we have the gaming facility. This will mostly be covered by the other 30% that we're finding through various sponsors, but we would need a building, obviously, so that would be provided from the university. And we're just under the assumption that these 200 players are like the best at their esport, because we're like setting up an actual esports like university. So we have nutritionists, workout rooms, paid management positions for them. And then our objectives are like sustainable growth to foster their skills. So that's where the management comes in. And because we have 200 players that are super good at like 1 or 2 specific games, we're gonna have like an intramural league, and then we'll hire casters for this intramural league. And it'll just like be a really good collegiate scene because we have so many good players to work with. And then we can use like surveys and tournament results for when they do join international tournaments, and also hire someone to form a social media team. And these will be like the tools that we have to foster our growth. And yeah, that's like the major things that we have.
Okay, it sounds really good. I think, for example, as a little feedback, that you really took into consideration many different factors, which is really good. You identified your own resources, what you have, what you could get. For example, the other 30% you talked about getting it through sponsors. Also, the assumption of like the 200 students being like the best of the best. That's also cool. I mean, for as long as we didn't specify something, you could use like your own creativity and imagination to develop these situations. So it's really good. For my side, I really liked it. And thank you for sharing your project.
Thank you for hosting this wonderful
Thank you.
meeting.
I don't know if someone else from the team wants to give feedback or we move on to the second team.
I think it was a
Okay.
great project, and while you were making it, it was very interesting to see how it was developing. But yeah, we can move on to the next speaker room.
Okay, so it's Matthew and Jesse.
Of course. So we thought along similar lines, but we weren't so focused on like making it similar to traditional sports. So we first identified like the objective would be to level the playing field for our 200 students to make sure that they all have equal access to the resources necessary to play esports. Because just because they're interested in it doesn't mean that they have access to it. And especially in esports, you need to have top quality equipment. So our goal was to create a computer lab for the university that could be used by all students, which is how we would incorporate the academic side with the esports side. And thus, by making it open to the whole university, we could also get the most funding and the best equipment. So, you know, maybe we could get mid-tier equipment if we were making it just for the esports team, but by making it an open resource for everyone, maybe the university would give us more resources in order to get top of the line equipment. From there, we also wanted to make it a community and a lively place. So we thought that having a wall for creative endeavors, basically a whiteboard wall where people could express their creativity and their ideas and write memes and draw jokes and the like, would promote that community. And then also to get the extra 30% of the funding that we'd need, we thought that we could incorporate it as a food area as well. And, you know, could make it a gaming themed restaurant, but that whatever company that we're using to provide the food would also be able to do sponsorships and brand deals with the university and the students. And that would be a way for us to get more of the funding. And then the goal of our project would be to get about 50% engagement. So if we have 1,000 students and 20% are interested in esports, we'd want 100% of our esports students using this area by the end of the first year. And from there, we could develop esports teams and training and the like.
Okay, thank you, Matthew. And I would just like to say that I really liked it and your project, and for example, how you defined your objectives and how you took this part of creativity too, of food, which maybe like not everyone takes into account. So it's good. And also that, for example, here we can see like how different people think about a similar project, even if it's similar. You just we just found out that both teams had like different ideas and different perspective, which is really cool. That is like the kind of work you will get from your own university, different ideas and build a whole new different project. So yes.
Yeah, I think both projects are very good. And as Valeria said, each university, each project has their own necessities. So maybe a different idea is good for one university, or another idea is good for another university. So yeah, we need to find a balance. We need to find what works best for the university. So yeah, I think that with this is a very good example that each university has their own necessities. As we said, in Tec de Monterrey, we are many campuses, so we have our own universities, and every project is going to have their own specifications. We are here for that. We are here to implement esports in different universities and to achieve our objectives with the things that they gave us, right? We need to overcome the challenges and we need to make a change in order to have esports as a recognized sport in all the universities all around the world and to improve our level. So that's why we are here. And I think we're going to go to the next one slide. Yeah, this is the dynamic review that is already being given. This that they're very good. You need to find all their own necessities. You need to be proactive. You need to focus on what each university needs to be done. And or even if you want to start your own university with a strong sports program, okay, go ahead and be the best university that you can be. Okay, so I only want to say that you're awesome, every one of you. You're going to make a change in this world. I know it, and you're so beautiful. Remember that all the time. So I think that's it for me. I don't know if any of my friends want to say something.
Thank
I
you very
would
much
just
for coming,
say,
everybody.
yes, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. And you're amazing. I agree that you are so beautiful.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, our Tec de Monterrey students. I think that they really did a really good job. Just to remind you, and just to finish this workshop, I'm going to remind you the specific dates on our capstone project. So I'm going to start to share my screen. I am going to ask you, I don't know, Ricardo. Thank you very much. You are beautiful, actually. Yeah, do not forget about it. But I am going to start to share with you these dates, these key dates. Just to remind you that tomorrow, well, depending on the day that you are on, for example, for us here in America, it is for tomorrow. In other countries, it is today. But we need to have the sections 2 to 4 draft 2. What are the 2 to 4 draft 2 to 4 sections? Executive summary, esports industry analysis, SWOT, and mission and vision statements. And just to remind you, we have 1 month till now to have the final presentation pre-recording. So thank you very much for your support on this capstone project. Any doubt, any questions that you have, you can ask me, or you can ask Jackie and Anya too. So
yeah,
it is.
Thank you, Carlos. No, I just wanted to say thank you. If anyone wants to set up like a one-on-one meeting with any of us, and I encourage you to meet with your advisors if you can between now and the capstone project. And really, I also just want to mention that the capstone project is really just designed to help all of you at your universities to think through your vision and your mission of the future. So hopefully that this capstone project can either start this process or help you facilitate that if you're already begun on that path of planning for the upcoming year or beyond. So please do let us know if you have questions. We are here to help you and guide you through the process if needed.
I had one question. Due to the busyness of summer, our group didn't have the sections 2 through 4 ready for tomorrow. How should we go about getting those in a timely manner and along those lines? Like, how should we address that issue?
Because the plan is to work on it this weekend, I think, right, Matthew?
Yes, we set up a meeting for this Sunday.
Yeah, I think we just wanted to set these milestones in place so that you don't have to on the night before the presentations are due, you're not like creating your whole project. So really, we can take these up until the end of next week, and then maybe we'll check in with each of the university teams afterwards to see where you are in the process and help guide you to the completion of the capstone project. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, thank you for the flexibility.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for joining today's workshop, and we will share the recording and the slides through emails. Thank you. Goodbye.